90 days ago, I was frustrated. I was tired of trying diets and weight loss that didn't work. I was discouraged. I had no energy. I was starting to not recognize myself or the way I looked. I was not really fitting into anything in my closet, and I finally had enough. I made a fresh commitment to try carnivore for the second time, and it has been 90 days since that decision, and I could not be happier. I could not be more thankful that I just bit the bullet and did it. I am here to share what the last 90 days has been like on what I think is maybe the most controversial and difficult diet I have ever done. So stay tuned till the end to find out what this 3-month span of time has done to me physically, mentally, all my true honest thoughts and pros and cons, and just kind of an inside look into how this diet can completely transform your life. If you're thinking about trying carnivore or this diet has piqued your curiosity, I want to say that I have been very purposeful to be extremely honest and transparent about all of the best and worst that this diet has been for me. But I do want to say that I'm sharing my experience, and every person's body is different, and what you should expect from this diet could be completely different than what I have experienced. So I just want to share what has happened to me, and by no means am I a medical professional. I teach first grade. I say this all the time. If you ask me medical questions in the comments, I will do my best to answer from my experience, but I am a teacher, not a doctor. So let's just set the record straight before we jump right in. Okay, so first, why did I decide to do carnivore? I am a serial dieter. I have shared this before. I tried every diet under the sun, and if you're looking for something that is going to provide just weight loss, there's lots of things out there. You don't have to choose something that's just eating meat or animal products. However, for me, weight loss was not coming easily. There seemed to be just like this genetic, maybe predisposition to normal like calorie counting and low carb. That kind of stuff just didn't always work for me, or I wouldn't stick with it long enough for it to actually produce results. And so my parents started carnivore before me, and they were on it for about a month, and I was just kind of convinced by their own progress. Like, I was shocked at how much weight they had lost and just how good they were feeling. And so I did carnivore for 3 months, about 90-ish days last year, and I lost 75 pounds overall, and I cheated. One day I just decided to cheat for my husband's birthday, and I fell off the wagon, and then, as one of my followers said, fell off the wagon, set the wagon on fire. Like, no wagon to be found, because I completely backslid into my old habits, into my old binge eating ways, and I gained back half of what I had lost. And I was so upset with myself. Obviously, like, this is something that I had worked so hard to do, and when you lose a significant amount of weight, like, you feel so proud of yourself because you worked for it, you know? And so I was so mad at myself. I felt like I had betrayed my past self for everything she had done to get me to this point. And I tried different versions of carnivore off and on. I tried animal-based, I tried keto, ketovore, and ultimately for me, I have insulin resistance. And so anytime you're gonna keep sugar in your diet with insulin resistance, expect to see spikes of insulin, and your glucose levels are all going to be crazy. Like, it's gonna prohibit your progress, rather than if you just did something that completely removed that from the equation. You would be shocked at how fast the weight and the fat and the inches were falling off. I knew that carnivore was the answer, but honestly, I was lazy. I did not want to do it again because I had been going for months eating sugar again, and I was addicted. I was back addicted already. In January, I told my dad, I said, I think I'm gonna start back on carnivore, but I want to try animal-based for the month of January and see if it gives me the same results. And it didn't. At the end of the day, it didn't. And so I fully committed to doing carnivore on February 1st, and it is now May 1st, and I feel so good. I have lost all of the weight that I gained back in my intermission, if you want to call it that. I've lost 47 pounds since February 1st. So in 3 months, lost about 47 pounds. And I definitely did not lose as much weight the second time around. I do weigh less than I did starting, but your body definitely honestly, the second time for me was not at all like the first time, and it came off a lot slower the first couple of weeks, which was really discouraging. With carnivore, you're gonna quickly notice that weight loss is just one of many benefits that you'll start to feel on this diet. And so if the numbers are slow to come off, especially if you have done this before, don't think that you're doing something wrong. Don't be discouraged. There's lots of other ways to measure your success, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So in the last 90 days, I just shared this, I've lost 47 pounds. It is so weird because with carnivore, immediately you start to feel like you weigh less. And I mean that because the inflammation in your body just starts to go away. And so it would be so normal on a daily basis for me to wake up and my back would immediately hurt, or I would immediately be fatigued or felt like I didn't get enough sleep the night before. With carnivore, especially because of that inflammation, it starts to go away and you forget that you have a lot of weight to lose. And I say that all the time, and it's like silly because I still have another 100 pounds that I'd like to lose, but I would feel so good that I was like, what? When I look in the mirror, I'm like, why am I overweight? Because it didn't feel like I was. Like, I literally, my frame, my skeleton, my joints, all of it felt so much better. And the number is just such a small portion of the results. At my heaviest, and this is something, I still struggle to say these numbers out loud, and I'm not gonna share them, I think, until I finally hit my goal. But I was over 300 pounds at my heaviest, and that was something that I never thought was going to happen to me. And I'm relatively tall, I guess. I mean, like in my family is very tall, but I'm 5'8", and I always felt like I was pretty like proportionate with my weight distribution. And I think that plays into your weight blindness kind of about yourself, and as you incrementally grow and gain weight, and it happens over such a long period of time. I was so unaware the size I had gotten. I was like easily a 24, maybe even a 26 at times. I just didn't feel comfortable ever. I was always so aware of myself and how I was positioned, like in a crowd or sitting with people or like at functions. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm taking up so much space. Like there's just so many, like I'm just a lot. I remember avoiding the scale, which is for me like a recipe for disaster. I got back on it January of 2024, so a year and a half ago, and I was just completely shocked at the number that I had hit. And I also started seeing pictures of myself, like full body pictures, and I was like, oh my gosh, who's that giant girl? Like that's all I could think of. And I knew I had to do something. I started really like coming to terms with what I was doing to my health and to my body. And so I was over 300 pounds, and at my lowest I had easily gained like 100 pounds since high school. I'd only been out of high school for like 8 years, and I had watched myself gain like 100 pounds, and I knew that there was no stopping that. I mean, you'd have to be delusional to think that one day that's just gonna stop, but I was delusional. I didn't think that I was gonna keep going up and up and up, but it did. It kept happening. And I think one of the things I like to tell people who think carnivore is so hard is I find it harder to fail time and time again on diets that I've put my hope in and expect great outcomes, and then because I never took sugar out of my diet, I'm self-sabotaging and I can't break the food addiction. I think that's harder. I think that is emotionally and mentally harder to deal with, this idea that like you're never really gonna hit your goal, you're never really gonna be there. And for me, that is 100% because sugar. I was addicted to food, and I'm addicted to food. And so I know that right now, if I were to go chow down on some crumble cookies, like it's over for me. Like it's not gonna be good. I have to break that in myself. I know people are really critical and very, I guess, suspicious of carnivore's methods, but I find it way less difficult than the emotional exhaustion of never reaching my potential. Mental and emotional effects that I think people are curious about a lot. You'll hear a lot of people say the mental clarity. They have mental clarity. They feel like they can multitask or they can really focus, and I would say that's 100% true. We have a joke in our house that we get quickly overstimulated, and my dad always picks at us and he's like, that's a new age term, like that's not, you know, that's so popular now to be overstimulated. Baby, let me tell you what overstimulated is. Constantly being needed, constantly having like to answer 10 questions at once, everyone wants your attention. That's what being a first grade teacher is like. While I love those kids and they are so sweet, and I wouldn't trade that time with them. The first part of my school year was so emotionally exhausting because I was in pain. I was physically in pain. When you are physically ill, it takes over every part of your life. You are like not being able to fire on all cylinders whenever you're not feeling well. And so whenever I started doing carnivore, I noticed my patience was increasing, my ability to handle overstimulation was increasing, and like I could really focus, I could really pay attention to my tasks, and I could efficiently lay out a to-do list and complete it. Like I was seeing and noticing that carnivore was helping me set goals and complete every single one of them in a timely manner. Starting this YouTube channel, the accountability that this YouTube channel has brought me, life-changing. But this kind of task and this kind of like undertaking would have really stressed me out whenever I was not at my best. Because if you don't feel like you're heading in a direction that you're going to achieve something, it's hard to think you'll achieve anything. I don't know how else to say that, and maybe that's just me, but like I felt like my motivation and my confidence to complete something and be good at something has increased since carnivore. Some of the comments I get the most about why they think carnivore is such a hard diet is because people don't think that they can stick to eating one food group indefinitely, or they look at carnivore as like a lifestyle change, which it is, but they see it as if they're gonna do it for the next 100 years. I was like that too. I would start to think about, oh my gosh, I don't wanna eat meat for the rest of my life. I'm only 27. And my dad always tells me, you're doing carnivore today. That's how long you're doing carnivore. You're doing carnivore today. Don't even think about tomorrow. Don't worry about tomorrow. And that kind of pep talk, I promise you're really only gonna have to give yourself maybe the first week. Because when I tell you, the minute you eliminate sugar from your diet, all the food noise, all the cravings, all the doubt about can you stick to this, it will go away because it's the sugar talking, it's the carbs talking. And when you don't realize that your life is probably literally being engineered and led by sugar. But my life used to be measured in like the happiness and excitement revolving around food. And that feels like a really dramatic way to say that, but if there were like a baby shower on my calendar or like a wedding shower, I would be ecstatic to know that I was about to get cake or about to get shower food. Like shower food is literally the best food in the world. And so I would count down the days till you would find me eating those like shortbread sugar cookies. Like it was what I measured time by, and I did not know how I was gonna give all that up and eat just meat. I realized after a couple days, I was like, wow, I'm never tired after I eat, and I don't need to take a nap, and I don't feel bloated. My body doesn't hurt. I don't feel full. And one of the things I really noticed was I didn't notice my stomach. Like, you know, whenever you've just eaten a lot and you're like, God, I need to unzip these jeans. I forgot I had a stomach because you don't feel your frame. I can't express that enough. You don't feel pain the same way after you have started carnivore because carbs and sugar are so inflammatory to your system. And that's one of the reasons it's important to remove every type of spice. This part might feel like the extra mile to people, but you have no idea what triggers your inflammation until you remove it. So removing the fruit, removing the vegetables, removing the spice, I know it might not feel necessary and it might feel like, oh, what would that really hurt me? You don't know until you remove it and you realize, oh my gosh, I feel so much better without these things. My husband and I have a favorite restaurant in town, and I have like a signature pizza that I get there, and it includes a lot of roasted garlic. A lot of roasted garlic. And it was always just kind of a joke in our house that like when we'd go and get that pizza, we were gonna be sick for the weekend because roasted garlic would just totally wreck us both. And it was silly to think about it now, but that's your body telling you something. Your body should not respond to food like that. And so whenever you eliminate all of this healthy stuff from your diet and realize you feel so much better, you just start to question everything. You're like, why was it all a lie? I mean, a lot of people think it's gonna be really hard to only eat meat, but I'm telling you, it's actually the easiest diet I've ever done. You don't have to count calories. You're not worried about portion control. You're not worried about all of the mathematical side of things. It takes all the guesswork out of eating healthy. It's so simple. At the beginning of carnivore, what I ate versus what I eat now, moving away from variety in your diet can be hard. And I was one of those people that I wanted like classic girl dinner. I wanted a smorgasbord of options. If I wanted some carbs and something salty and a meat and a cheese, like I wanted options on my plate. And that didn't go away when I started carnivore. So at the beginning, I might have had like some shrimp and some chicken and deviled eggs and maybe like a piece of salmon or a burger patty with an egg. Like I felt like I needed multiple types of meat on my plate to kind of cope with the idea that like I'm only eating meat. And now on a daily basis, I could eat scrambled eggs and bacon every meal and it won't be a big deal. Like I don't think about food. I will say though, like one of the most important things you need to know if you decide to start carnivore is that fat is everything. And if you are not getting enough fatty meat in your diet, you will not feel the way I feel right now. You will be fatigued. You will not be losing weight. You will feel like you're crashing. You probably won't be eating enough. And it's because fat becomes the new fuel source for your body. And so you need to make sure, I always aim to get at least one really solid fat serving a day, whether it's sausage or a hamburger patty. Bacon isn't gonna cut it. Cooking things in butter isn't gonna cut it. You need high dosages of fat. I'm telling you, it's gonna make a world of difference, and just be aware of that. Something I do still kind of struggle with occasionally, and it goes back to if I don't get enough fat, is the emotional tie to eating. And I shared in a past video, we've undergone some pretty extreme life changes in the last month, and it shocked me that even being so deep into carnivore, I still was kind of craving some emotional comfort food, because that was just how I coped my entire life, was always kind of resorting to food. Don't be discouraged if you are feeling that or struggling with that, but I do want to affirm you that it's fully related to how much fat you're getting. I would notice on the days where I struggled with cravings the most, I didn't have enough fat, and it all ties back to that. Some great benefits that I have been seeing: my skin feels clear. I feel like my dark spots or like my rosacea, it hasn't gone away, but it has certainly lessened. I used to have eczema, like a lot of eczema, and that has lessened as well. But it does surprise you. You'll be so in harmony with your body, and you'll be able to like instantly know if something you ate upset you or your body's rejecting it, because you'll start to notice that like when toxins are releasing from your body, it can come in so many different ways. So like in the past, if I had an eczema flare up, I wouldn't have known, what caused that. But a couple weeks ago, I noticed, it's on this wrist. Let me see if you can. I started getting like eczema flare ups on this wrist, and I was telling my husband, like, I don't know what is happening, like why I'm having eczema. And I realized it was an allergic reaction to my daughter's lotion, like where I hold her and where I have her head like resting on me a lot of times was inflamed. And I knew it wasn't anything I ate because I know exactly what I'm eating. And that's a really nice relief to know, like you can pinpoint what your triggers are. And whenever you eventually go off of carnivore, if that's your plan, you will know what to stay away from, because your body has shown you over and over again it rejects certain foods and certain spices. There was one day on carnivore where I texted my dad and I said, I'm gonna go get a crumble cookie. I'd had a really rough day emotionally. Some stuff was going on and I had a hard day at work. It was just one of those days where like you're looking for bad things to happen so that you can excuse an emotional response. And I had asked my dad to be my accountability partner this time around, like, don't go easy on me, don't let up on me. I want this more than I want anything else. And he just texted back, no, you're not going to get a cookie. And I remember being like, I didn't even have to tell you. I could have lied and just gone and done it. But in my heart of hearts, that really wasn't what I wanted. I wanted him to tell me no. I wanted him to put that boundary back in place for myself when I felt like I couldn't do it. And it's so important to have accountability for that reason. So many of you on here have shared with me that you do carnivore alone. For most of the time I've been on carnivore, I've done it by myself. My husband has not done it, but actually this is his 30th day doing carnivore, and it actually really does make a world of difference having your partner, your spouse do it with you. And it was something that I didn't think would make that much of a difference, but it really does. And if you are doing this by yourself in your own household, my heart goes out to you. I did it myself like that for months, and just know that you are welcome to join our community here. I feel like so many friends on here do it alone in person, but that doesn't mean you have to do it alone emotionally. And it's been so helpful and enlightening to learn from each other and then just also be motivated by one another. So yeah, don't do it alone. Get some accountability and find communities or groups that you feel like encourage you and are pushing you in the right direction, because misery loves company, and you don't need to talk to people who are not on carnivore or are not on a diet, because on the days where you want to cheat, they're going to be like, you deserve it, girl, go get you some cookies. And it's like, do you love me or do you hate me? Because if you love me, you know that this is what's best for me, is to tell me no. And that's a really important part of this, is in that accountability. They love you because they love you. They're going to tell you no. People are going to have something to say, most likely, if you decide to do carnivore. And hopefully the people in your life that have watched you struggle with weight loss over the years, you know, they might think it's going to be like another one of the fads, another one of like the long list of diets you've done. They're going to support you, hopefully, because they love you and they care about you. But for people who are critical of carnivore, their opinion of what you're doing does not matter. At the end of the day, your decision to do this only affects you, and it affects the people you love because you're taking better care of yourself. And so if people are critical or people want to say something about it, please don't let that stop you from doing it. I have so many people and coworkers and friends in my life who are so kind. They probably would never do this themselves, and that's okay. They don't need to, but they are so encouraging to me. They compliment me on my wins. They support me on here. So just know that your success will speak for itself. Dive into research. There are so many things that I felt more confident in this decision once I actually had answers to questions people had. And so do your research. Dr. Ken Berry is a great resource. There are so many carnivore doctors. So many people in my town actually have told me recently that their doctors are doing carnivore, or their doctors' families are doing carnivore. I think it's an ever-growing audience as people are starting to realize the benefits of it. Obviously, it's not something everybody's gonna try, and most people will think it's unsustainable long-term, but there are plenty of people who have been on carnivore for decades before it kind of gained popularity. So just do your research if you feel like you need to have answers to questions, but you also don't owe anybody an explanation, okay? I say that to my sisters all the time. You do not owe anybody an explanation for making the right decision for you. So if you have decided to give carnivore a try, I want to encourage you to do it for at least 30 days. And do not make up your mind about day 31 until you have hit 30 days. If you're gonna give carnivore a try, fully dive in. Eliminate spices, eliminate any sort of supplemental foods like keto candy or keto snacks or diet soda or sugar-free anything. Do it for real, because even though all of those things at the end of the day might fall under 0 carb, 0 sugar, if it's not coming from an animal, don't eat it. If it has sugar, aspartame, if it has any of the sugar alcohols, don't eat it. I'm telling you, you will see a night and day difference in how you feel, how you look, how you have energy, if you really commit to 30 days. And if you have truly committed to 30 days and you are here watching this video, please tell people how you're feeling so they can see that it is worth it. Not just for the numbers or the scale, but physically it transforms you in all different ways, okay? So if I were starting again today, I would clean out my fridge. I know it's gonna hurt to say goodbye to the groceries you've purchased. I know. Go donate it to a food shelter if you want to. Go donate it to people. Text your family and be like, hey, who wants all my like Twinkies? Like, I don't know. Get it out of your house. Just make it easier on yourself. Get it out of your house. Go to the grocery store. Buy lots of different meats. This is a 1-ingredient type of diet. So easy to do. Cook them. Cook them and freeze them. That way you have meals prepared. This is the easiest diet to eat. It takes no thought. It takes all the guesswork out of eating. And then you need to tell someone to be your accountability partner. If you can't find someone to do it with you, literally leave me a message right here, right now saying, I'm starting carnivore today. This is my accountability. I want to know, okay? Because I'm rooting for you and I want you to accomplish everything you want in this life. Truly everything you want in this life. You can do this. And when you do it, you will realize you feel like you can do anything. Start today. It is not too late to start the 30-day challenge. I have people every day message me that they started the 30-day challenge today. You don't need to wait until the first of the month, but it is the first of the month. It's May 1st today. What a great time to start, okay? You will be shocked by June 1st, like what you've accomplished and how you feel. You should start today. I am really excited because now that I have lost all this weight that I've gained back from my relapse, it is really exciting. I'm so excited to see my continued success and kind of like new territory. It's been so long since I've hit the numbers that I'm hitting. I haven't kind of been in this weight range or getting into this weight range since I got married. So I just feel proud of myself, and it's a feeling that it ignites hope in me for my future, not just for my health, but just any endeavor that I want to attempt. I feel like I can do it. And I really, it's my prayer for you that if you feel like you're at the end of a long journey of no answers, nothing is working, I really want you to try carnivore and see if you feel the same way about this. So thank you guys so much for watching. It has been a wonderful 90 days. I truly don't feel like I could have done it without y'all, because the peer pressure and accountability of posting online is some days what kept me going. And so I'm really thankful for that. But I am here for you and here to give you an encouraging word. If you are someone who is considering this, it's 30 days. There's nothing to lose. Try it for 30 days and I promise you, you're gonna feel different than you do today. Whether you are already deciding to start carnivore or you're on carnivore and you feel like you failed 100 times, I've been in both seats and I want you to know that you can do anything that you set your mind to. Give it 7 days of truly going full carnivore, no sugar, no carbs, and I promise you, you're gonna feel different in just a week, okay? So if you decided to do carnivore, or if you're in the middle of your journey, or if you're on something else, let me know. I'd love to know. I love reading your comments, and I love seeing how you are achieving your health goals, because I pray for you guys, I think about y'all, and I'm so excited for all of the people who have taken their health under control in 2025. So I hope that you guys have a great week, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching.